It is so good. This is so good. Hey Garden Maiders, welcome to Corner Homestead. So I'm back in the kitchen getting ready to prepare some supper on this Sunday afternoon. Thought I'd bring you along with me. Hope everything is going well on your side of the fence. So today I'm making pan-fried pork chops with gravy. Something simple, a staple dish. Takes a little time to cook it, to get it tender, but all worth it in the end. So let's get started and I'll show you what I'm going to use today. So this dish is definitely one that you can make it your own, put in whatever flavors you like. Today I am just going to use, of course, my pork chops. I have them already in the sink here. I'm just using pork loin chops. I have 6 of the chops, so I'm going to be just using those. Gonna need some good old onion, of course. Everything I put into my dishes, I use onion and everything. Can of chicken broth. I have 2 chicken bouillon cubes. These are like the pasty type of bouillon cubes. I get them at BJ's. It's just the BJ's brand. And of course I always use my complete seasoning that I get at BJ's. I'm not sponsored by this stuff, but I wish I was because I just love this seasoning. It is so good in everything you put it into. You got your garlic and your onion, your salt, already your salt, your spices, your herbs. Everything is just in here. It's wonderful stuff. So I'm going to be using some of that. I'm going to use a little bit of extra garlic. Not if you have the cloves, you can use a garlic clove. I don't have the cloves, but I do have the minced garlic already done for me. So I'll be using probably about a spoon or so of that, teaspoon of that. But that's pretty much it. It is so easy to do, and like I say, if you have mushrooms, you can use mushrooms into this dish. I don't have any, or I would be using them today. Put in the flavors you like and make it your own. I'm going to get started on pre-frying the pork chops, and then I can get everything incorporated into the pan and just let it simmer nice and slow onto the stovetop. So the first thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of olive oil to the bottom of my pan, and I'm also going to add, it's only about a tablespoon or so, a few tablespoons, not very much at all. Okay, and I'm also going to add about 2 tablespoons of butter just for browning purposes. Well, this is actually margarine. We'll go and let that heat up. And in the meantime, I'm going to take my pork chops. I'm just going to put them on a plate, and I'm going to sprinkle each side with some pepper and some of the complete seasoning. If you don't have complete seasoning, just use salt. You can use a little garlic salt, a little bit of celery salt. Like I said, the flavors, you just make it your own. Once this is hot and all of the margarine is melted, I'll start frying them. Okay, so now this is hot enough and the butter is melted, we're going to go ahead and put our chops in. Start getting them fried up. I'll have to do this in a few batches. Gonna put the seasoning on the other one. So I'll do these 4. Once these are done browning, I'll do the remaining 2. Now you don't have to cook these completely through. You just want to brown them up. And that is it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the lid onto it. That way they'll brown a little quicker. Okay, so these have browned up fairly nicely. So now I'm going to go ahead and add in my can of chicken broth. Just get it all over. I'm going to add about a 3/4 teaspoon of garlic, only because I don't want it to be too strong. This is the garlic that I use. It's just minced garlic in a jar. Not even sure where I got this from. I believe it was Save-A-Lot. So I have my 2 chicken bouillon cubes. I'm going to go ahead and put these in to it. And like I said, these bouillon cubes are like a paste. These are the ones I get from BJ's. They're soft. They're very soft bouillon cubes. So 2 of those. I'm going to add just a little bit more of my complete seasoning mix. Not much, just a little. And of course, I'm going to put in my onions. Okay, so also to this, after the onion, I am going to add a little bit of dried thyme. To me, thyme always tastes so good with pork. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of that around. This is my fresh thyme that I dehydrated, that I grew. And now I'll cover it up, put the lid back on, and we're going to go ahead and let this cook. This is where it'll take a little bit of time to cook because you want the chops to be just tender. You just want the chops to get tender. So we'll go ahead and put the lid back on and let her cook. In the meantime, I'm going to peel some potatoes. I'm going to have mashed potatoes with this. So I'm going to get those peeled and then I'll get them on to cook as well. Okay, so our pork chops have been cooking for an hour and a half. They smell wonderful. They look very good. So I'm going to pull them all out of here now. Put them just on a paper plate while I make the gravy. Now I do my gravy pretty simple. I don't... Oh, they're falling apart. Because this is boiled down quite a bit, you can see it actually got darker. I'm going to add a little bit of water to it. And I'm also going to add a little bit, about a half a cup, not much, of milk. Let this get all good and hot again. Okay, so this is just now starting to boil. Come to a simmer here. I've got water in this cup, just water, and some cornstarch. I made a little bit of a cornstarch slurry, as they call it. Normally, if I was doing something in the beginning, I would have used just flour to thicken, but because this is already like this, I just used the cornstarch. So I'm going to pour about half of it in for now. And of course, it's going to get thick very, very fast. If you add too much, just add a little bit more water or milk. But you want to just get it to the consistency of the gravy that you like. Some people like thick gravy. Some like it a little on the thinner side. We kind of like it in between. So I'm just going to keep stirring it and mixing it until I know all that cornstarch is cooked and get the consistency that I want. I might have to add just a little bit more. Try a little bit more. I did taste the gravy right before I took the chops out, and it's perfect. It didn't need any other seasonings added to it. It is definitely very, very good. So I think this is definitely going to be enough cornstarch. It looks lumpy, but it's not. It's the onions. Like I said, this would be wonderful if I would have had the mushrooms to put into it, but I did not have those, so that's it. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to put the pork chops back into the gravy. Like a little touch of heaven here. Make sure I get all the onions and the juice that was on the plate. I'm going to cover it up while I mash the potatoes. Just let it sit. I did turn the fire off. Now I'm going to mash my potatoes real quick. And then it'll be time to serve it up. So there you have it, Garden Maters. Doesn't get any better than this. The pork turned out perfect. Fork tender. Everything, the gravy is just perfect. That is so good. So like I said, I made it with some mashed potatoes. And I heated up some corn. This is the corn that I canned not long ago. Really, really good. This couldn't have turned out more perfect in my opinion. I hope you try it. And if you do, I hope you let me know what you think. It's so good. I just can't wait to eat. So as always, I thank you for joining me. It's always a pleasure to have you here in the kitchen. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do. Always look forward to seeing my community grow and to watch the Garden Maters grow as well. Until next time, I love you all. Take care. God bless. And I'll see you on the next video. It's supper time.